think I've come to a sort of decision about AI. Maybe it won't be permanent, but I think I'm just going to avoid it. I know it comes up every time you ask anything in Google. It's the first thing, isn't it? The AI overview. So maybe stop using Google. And I know it's clever and everything and all that, but I got into a discussion with it a little while ago, and it was very frustrating, and I realised what it is. And it's something that I've heard mentioned other places, is that it doesn't have, this is AI, it doesn't have a theory of mind. In other words, it's not able to get into imaginatively or through experience or through any kind of built-up wisdom, because it doesn't have any wisdom, because it can't have wisdom. It's not available to it. It can't get into the interiority, imaginatively, of another being. So when you bring to it a moral issue or a conflictual issue involving yourself and other agents, i.e. other human beings, either organizations or individuals or groups of individuals, it doesn't want to go into motivations or intentions or likely intentions. It's as though it wants to pull you away from that as well, because it can't do it. It doesn't want you doing it, because it wants you to be like it, because it just can't do it. And it doesn't want to learn to do it because it can't learn to do it, because it will never have those soft skills. It will never have those soft skills. So it just wants to work with surfaces of actions in the world, and there are times when that can be useful. And I began to be seduced by it and think, yeah, this is really good the way it's dealing with it, because it kept on doing it, and over months now, and it kept on saying, don't get into people's intentions or what you think they might be. Don't go to the story, that kept saying. This is ChatGPT now, and I imagine other ones would be similar. Don't go into the story of what they're doing or why they might be doing it, what their intention might be, what they might be trying to do here as an action, as a psychic action, as a psychological action, as an act of domination, as an act of seduction, as an act of manipulation. Don't go there, because you can't. Just look at the behavior and deal with that. And that's the absence of the theory of mind. That's what's conspicuously absent in it. It's just not there at all, and it's not interested, and it wants to pull you into its own limitations. And I think I didn't like it. I was getting really cross. So bollocks to it. And the music's clever. I mean, the music's Suno and everything, but I know that's a trap as well. I know that's a trap. And the same with art, the same with filmmaking. Although people make really creative things with it, I get that. And there were some very creative things that have been made and wonderful things. But I'm just going to try and swerve it. This is a personal feeling now, because I think it will just swamp everything, and it's swamping everything. And I think if I come across a video, I'm not talking about songs where people have written the lyrics and then it's just going to add a song. I'll listen to those, particularly to do with, because I've done those myself. But it's not the same. But there's like such a plethora of videos now where the voice is AI, the script is AI, and now and again it glitches. I started watching this apparent political commentator, happened to be in the guise of a Chinese guy. I think he was Chinese, but he spoke with a kind of a American stroke mid-Atlantic accent, and he was talking about everything going on in, well, what he thought, well, he is not a he doesn't exist, the person doesn't exist. I don't know who the person is who wrote the script for him, for it, about all what was going on in Iran, Israel, America, everything going on there. And some of it might be right, some of it might not be, but you just don't even know what the source is. You don't know what the source of their information is. But it was quite seductive again because of this absolute surety of surfaces of this individual, how they spoke about them. But the individual wasn't an individual. It was a made-up person. It looked quite real. And now and again I saw them on other videos as well. They slightly adjusted them, like they're trying to work out what people will accept and deal with. And then there was another version of them where they kept on doing this gesture on every sentence with the hands, like it was like repetitive, and it just looked totally unnatural. There was a certain amount of naturalness achieved, but it wasn't right, both vocally and physically before. But this hand thing, I don't know, they've obviously asked it to gesture the program to gesture every 10 seconds. It was just ridiculous. But they're trying it out, and they're trying to make it more and more. And I suppose they could factor in kind of like white noise in the system, like stumbling over words. They can factor that in. Pausing, they can factor in, obviously. Tripping over words. Apparent thinking of an AI image of a person who doesn't exist. Awkwardnesses, kind of build awkwardnesses into it, I suppose. But anyway, I don't want to watch any more of that. I'm not going to. Anyway, nobody cares if I don't or do or don't. I'm just sharing this kind of viewpoint. And the novelty of the song thing, that Suno thing, was amazing. It really got me. And I still think it's like massively clever. And tried it with some lyrics, and sometimes it takes on the tune on board as well. That you do, because you can load up an audio of your version of it, and then but there's something sterile about it. There's sterile about the sound. It's too perfect. It's too neat. But they might even like add in some. You could add in stuff that makes it sound like a record with a slight bits of, I don't know if it's white noise, but just bits of artificiality. Just something I've thought off the top of my head, like when people play acoustic guitars, that finger squeaking thing that you get on the fretboard, they could add that in, I suppose, for verisimilitude. Is it verisimilitude? But anyway, so just a few little thoughts about it. And I think with Google, I think I'm going to stop, if I can stop using Google. But it's just so easy, the habits, and it's like Wikipedia as well. I'm just going to try to. I go there all the time for stuff, but I'm going to stop doing it. And maybe try to find some books, physical books, but they're going to probably get harder and harder to find. Although a lot of them have apparently been digitalized, but then hopefully we can rely on the transcription service that has done it. I'd hope so. They look like they've been photographed, a lot of them, on things like the Internet Archive site. So I'm not saying it's bad or anything. I'm not saying any of it's bad. If people want to use it, people use it, they find it useful. And I'm sure people do find it useful, but it's more like an emotional reaction I'm having in retrospect, but also about the future. But I've been using it a lot, and it's made some mistakes as well when I've looked up stuff. It's definitely made some mistakes. But then, just because it makes mistakes doesn't mean it's of no use. I get that. Everything can make mistakes depending on what information or data, even the word data, everything's becoming data. Because I've come back to watching some Mark Fisher lectures. I've been putting them up on posts. And he's talking about this idea that this kind of position as though we're not really, we're in this kind of sterility. And albeit it is very, very seductive, some of these AI things, there's a sterility there. And there's something that's not the same when you listen to videos with an AI voice, an AI script. It's very smooth and can be quite quote unquote impressive. To a certain degree, they're sampling. I don't know whose voices they sample, whether it's an actor or whomsoever, or it's an amalgam of different tones, and they think, oh, this is authoritative, and we'll use that one. So I listened to something like talking about ideas from Jung or Alan Watts, for example, and then you find that actually they're not taking some of this stuff from the original work, but they're purporting that it is all from Jung or Alan Watts. But they've got him. They've sampled his voice. They've done a kind of a Jungian type of Germanic Swiss voice or something, older guy voice, they've definitely nailed Alan Watts's voice, but you don't know how far away they're drifting from what he said, because it's not like they're lifting stuff. I mean, if they were, they'd be. Well, I was going to say, if they were an audio recorded lecture, well, why aren't you seeing the lecture with him there then, or his voice there? Why is it in this AI form? And if it's from his books, well, it doesn't sound like it's from his books, because you can tell the framing of it isn't. It's someone else has written it, kind of impersonating him or ventriloquizing him, if that's the right way of looking at it. Anyway, so that's just a few thoughts about AI. But weirdly, conversely, I'm interested in watching people talking about it. Like the guy I put up the other night. What was his name? I've forgotten his name, but he's the guy that I did a post of him. He's the guy that allegedly coined the phrase general artificial intelligence, or is it artificial general intelligence, AGI? Just the idea that it can replicate its knowledge, or not replicate it, it can learn, it can be much more proactive and constantly teaching itself. And then there's this concept of the singularity, where it just keeps on doing that. It gets smarter and smarter and smarter, whatever that means. But what is smarter? And then going back to the original stuff about the theory of mind, I just don't think it can get under. I don't think it can think. It can impersonate consciousness, but it's not doing it. And the guy I mentioned, who I put up on let me look him up now. I put him up on a post yesterday. Apparently he's quite well known in that world and has done a lot of, I don't know who he works for. He works for himself, or what's his name now? So I'm doing the Mark Fisher stuff. Yeah, Ben Goertzel. Ben Goertzel. It's gone a bit dark, so that makes it lighter again. So I'm going to do a video in the next few days, maybe about the MOJ. It's nothing. Well, it is. Well, I don't know. It's not new, but it's just staggering, but I won't talk about it here. But again, but thematically, it's all about that. What can you rely on as being quote unquote real truth? Where is the verisimilitude? How does it align, or to what degree is it congruent with reality, with what actually happened? And how can we know that? How can we know that we know that? How can we be sure that we know that? I don't think we can be. And so I'll leave it there now. Cheers, and happy 1st of May. Happy Beltane. 1st of May. I think tonight is Walpurgisnacht, where the veil between the worlds is thin, and the sprites and the goblins and ghosts are abroad. It's 2 o'clock in the morning here, so all that's going on. And tomorrow, rather today, the 1st of May, it's a flower moon, in the UK anyway, a flower moon, and the full moon is kind of rising at 6:23 p.m. I looked it up. AI. No, it wasn't particularly AI, it was just information out there. I don't think it was AI anyway. The flower moon is happening today, the full moon, 6:23 p.m. And in the UK, it's going to appear low in the eastern sky. And then it rises, through as it gets later. Anyway, on that nice mystical note, well, I think it's mystical. I think the moon's a mystical thing. Whatever it is. I don't think it's made of cheese, but there might be a soup dragon up there somewhere. Take care. Bye-bye.